Am I in your way? Am I in your? Oh, no, you're.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is John Mason. I am Business Development Director with the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. And I focus a little bit on the food industry sector, specifically agriculture. I know some of you are in here. Mr. Romano, CEO, everyone. And welcome. We are part of Sydney's team, where we want to cultivate and revitalize local food system, our system in Prince George's County. And you all are critical stakeholders in that whole equation. So we're hosting this event in co-sponsorship with Stagel, and I think you're going to put a lot of information and great feedback today on how we can keep that food supply sustained and help our farmers grow and expand. So with that, let's go turn it over to Sydney, and we'll have our program to commence.
Great. All right, so this will be filmed today, so I just want to notify everyone of that. That's why I'm speaking to this mic, and I'm not any louder, because we're trying to pick up our presentations. Mic's off. All right. We're trying to pick up our presentations on the camcorder, so we will all be projecting today. So yeah, thank you so much for coming to our roundtable. We are thrilled at the turnout. This roundtable is called Cultivating a Revitalized Local Food System for Prince George's County. I'm here as the coordinator of the Food Equity Council. We're a local food policy council, which I'll tell you a bit more about in a bit. But I'd really love to go around the room and hear who's here. So we're asking you to introduce yourself with your name, your organization, and an icebreaker, which I know everyone loves. So our icebreaker today is, where do you go to eat in the county to eat locally sourced food? So whether that be a restaurant or wherever, we'd love to hear. So I'll kick it off. My name's Sydney Daigle. As I said, I'm the coordinator of FEC. And I love Roy and Artie's Kitchen Garden, and they sell at farmers markets across the county. I normally go to Riverdale Park, and they grow some of the food that they serve as Indonesian food in their backyard gardens. That's my favorite spot. Derek, let's see next.
I'm Derek Berlage. I'm with the Prince George's County Planning Department. And two of my favorite restaurants are actually right across the street from each other. One is Franklin's, which I bet many of you are familiar with. And they definitely use local ingredients. And then right across the street is a smaller restaurant called Chez Dior, which is a Senegalese restaurant. And that's a terrific restaurant too. And I know they use local ingredients as well. Both in high school.
My name is Jim Colvin, and I work for the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. And one of my favorite restaurants is up in Laurel, and it's called Pasta Plus. And I've eaten there about 3 times in the last 5 days. And the favorite place where I shop for local produce would be at the Greenbelt Farmers Market, and also Shoppers in Laurel. I hope some of it's local. So it's a pleasure being here this morning.
My name's Matt Drnog. I work for Prince George's County Council member Mary Lehman, and I'd go with the Hollywood Farmers Market in College Park.
Hi, my name is Margaret Morgan Hubbard. I'm the CEO and founder of Eco City Farms, and I also am on the Food Equity Council. I'm the co-chair of the group that organized this event. And I'd say the Riverdale Farmers Market, which is from 3 to 7 today.
My name is Sasha Deolo. I work for the council chair, Davis. Can't say that I eat anything that's locally sourced or that I know is locally sourced.
Good morning.
We'll fix that.
Good morning. My name is Evelyn Kelly. I'm with the Institute for Public Health Innovation and also a member of the Food Equity Council. And one of my favorite places to eat a lot and have meetings at is Busboys and Toilets.
Hello, I'm Carol Dyson. I'm with the University of Maryland Extension, the Prince George's offices. And I actually recently went to a new restaurant in College Park, fairly new. I think the name was Fish Kings.
Yes.
Which was excellent. And in fact, I met the wife of the owner at the reception that was at your vineyard at Romano's. And she was looking for more locally sourced produce, so I was able to talk to her. But the food is great.
I'm Yates Claggett. God, I wear a lot of hats. I work for the Prince George's Soil Conservation District, and I'm in charge of the ag section there. I'm a Farm Bureau president here in the county, and I'm the vice chairman of the Southern Maryland Agricultural Development Commission. Not to mention, I own a couple of farms in the county. I'm a grass-fed beef producer down in the southern part of the county. And to be honest with you, I have 3 kids, so I don't get to go out to eat a whole lot. I would say my favorite restaurant is my kitchen table because, to be honest, I grow or hunt most of what I eat.
Wow.
I'm Brad Miller. I'm here representing my family farm, Miller Farms, which is located in Clinton, Maryland. One of my great places to eat, just like Gates. Whenever it's in season, I just walk right outside my door and I pick some stuff, bring it home for my wife, and she's a fabulous cook. So, 9 months out of the season, I'm eating the stuff we're producing right there.
Morning, my name is Lamar Weaver. I work at a program called Branch Avenue Bloom. It's an affiliate of University of Maryland. And I volunteer at the Accokeek Ecosystem Farm. So I'm part of the work trade program. So I grow and take home that which I grew.
I'm Andy Fellows. I'm with the University of Maryland Environmental Finance Center. I'm also the former mayor of College Park and was glad to hear some of the College Park places. So I do go to the 4 farmers markets that are in College Park, including the University of Maryland's. The one I want to mention is I eat at Dining Services, and some of that food is grown locally here in Prince George's County from Turk Farm.
I'm Tiffany Romano Myers from Romano Vineyard and Winery. I'm also the Maryland Wineries Association marketing chairperson. And my favorite restaurant is actually the place where I get the best grapes in the county, and that is Romano Vineyard and Winery.
Hi, my name is Jillian Romano with Romano Vineyard and Winery. And I have to say we don't eat a whole lot. We produce wine, so we drink a lot.
Good morning. My name is Robbie Das with Department of Permitting and Inspections and Licensing, and I oversee the permitting mega project suite, respectfully. My favorite food, I know it's kind of like a fast food, but it's on my way home, is kind of Sardi's chicken. I know it sounds bad, but that's twice a week for me. So, thank you.
My name is Heidi Sterlings. I'm with the Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement as well. I don't live in the county, however, I do oversee the processing of the applications for the farmers markets and all the health permits.
And I'm Lisa Hayes. I'm the president and CEO of the Accokeek Foundation. We have the Ecosystem Farmer Lamar volunteers. He's amazing, and Andy is on our board. And really, the locally sourced food I eat is from the farm. The fresh eggs from our chickens, produce that we grow both on our colonial farm and the ecosystem farm. So.
My name is Mike Franklin from Franklin's in Hyattsville, Maryland. Of course, you know I'm going to say my own restaurant is my favorite place. We do buy a lot of local products. Sadly, since Avis and TGIF Farms retired and Harris Orchard folks retired, we buy most of our local produce out of Zaraka Farms in Essex, Maryland. And our beef comes from Moncton, from, farms. I would love to develop more relationships in the county that work for me, and we're also opening a second restaurant in a year right across the main entrance from the University of Maryland. That will be also even more farm to table than we are at Franklin's.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Larry Hintz. I'm director here with the EDC. I focus more on the retail end, so the other end of this whole process. Favorite restaurants? One, of course, yes, Best Boys and Coles. Number 2, I love Miller Farms. Not only can I go there and get my fresh vegetables, I can go right there and get some ice cream on my way out. Okay, and the pound cake too. Okay, I get it. There is a new restaurant located in Mount Rainier. It literally just opened a few weeks ago. It's located right at the Circle at a historic site. And the name of it is
Bird Kitchen and Cocktails.
There
Chef Lenny Robinson.
Bird Kitchen and Cocktails. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the menu changes every day. I'd like to suggest it to you.
Good morning. My name is Gül Gülerüz. I'm with Prince George's County Planning Department as well as co-chair of the Prince George's County Equity Council. My favorite restaurant, because I'm vegetarian and I love Indian food, is Woodlands in Langley Park. I don't know how much they get locally grown stuff. I need to go to talk with them around. They do get great. I think that.
Good morning. My name is Ebony Stocks. I'm with the Economic Development Corporation. I'm currently working on the grocery store tax credit, which is why I'm here today. But I love eating at Franklin's restaurant, so that's the place I love to go.
Well, good morning, John Mason again. My favorite restaurant is Copper Cane. I'm told that they do source local produce. I hope that's true. As far as farmers markets is concerned, I love Clinton Farms. Love to get their produce, but like Larry, I'm very partial to the cinnamon buns and
And I think we missed Barry and I.
And I'm Barry Abrams, the camera person that you can't see. My favorite restaurant now is Sweetgrass Low Country Cooking, which is located in Clinton at the Colony South Hotel. Chef Chris, who was one of the finalists in the Mason-Dixon Master Chef competition, he's the person that leads that restaurant, and he's launching this new endeavor.
Hi, I'm Joshua Reynolds. I work with the EDC. I'm new to Prince George's in Maryland, so I have not yet determined my favorite restaurant or locally grown foodery. I'm looking to learn, so I'd love to grab folks' cards before the event is over so that I may visit your restaurant on the weekend at some point.
Good morning, I'm Susan Bree. I'm with the Health Department, the Food Protection Program, and with the Food Equity Council. I love to eat and drink and can't pick a favorite.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you all for introducing yourselves. So I'd like to draw your attention very quickly to the agenda in your packets. It should be in the on the right-hand side whenever you open your folders. Great. So just to recap, our objectives for today are to kind of all be on the same page about the county's food system and understand how it can drive economic development. To discuss opportunities for food entrepreneurs and farmers to really be engines of economic growth. And finally, figure out what we need to do to facilitate action towards those goals. So I want you to keep those objectives in the back of your mind throughout today. And I'd like to turn it over to Jim Coleman to welcome us, kick it off, and tell us a bit about EDC.
Well, it is a pleasure being here among fellow farmers. You can hit that like there, John, just one of them. I want to kind of take you through what the EDC is, why we're so committed to our family farms here in Prince George's County. I'm not only the president and CEO of the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, I am a farmer. And I grew up on a little small farm in Lexington, Kentucky. And that little farm is called Coleman Crest. And Coleman Crest Farm was purchased by my great-grandfather in 1888. And it's been in my family ever since. So I clearly understand where farmers are challenged every single day on trying to make ends meet and trying to keep your farm alive and selling crops that are in demand in the market. And I'm excited today to be able to have the opportunity at the Economic Development Corporation to be able to help our family farms here in Prince George's County. My great-grandparents had this picture taken of the house that was on our farm in the 20s and in the 30s. The little guy in the middle is my father, Sam, and that's John and Molly, my grandparents, and this brother, Ben, my father's brother, and his little sister that he used to call sister. This is the way it looks from the aerial view, and it probably looks like some of your farms. And I get a chance to go down there every once in a while to visit, and we used to plant all kinds of crops. Corn, we don't have anything there now, but we planted corn, alfalfa, tobacco, pigs, cows, sheep. We used to kill hogs during the wintertime and send country hams all over the country to my different relatives who also grew up on the farm. And that's the way it looks today, the house that I grew up in. And I get a chance to go down there every once in a while to visit. And that's the back fields, and I've got a guy there that keeps it mowed nicely. This is the way the front looks during the springtime. And this fence, thinking about family farms, you all know that nothing goes to waste. And so one of the things that we used to do on our farm, because fencing was so expensive to keep the pigs in, my father came up with a deal with the tobacco warehouse to be able to take all of their broken crates, and we used to tie them together. And we found out by taking the old baling wire that we would use to bale the hay, once that wire was used up, we would tie together these broken crates, and it kept the pigs in better than the fence and the barbed wire at the bottom. And it was a lot more economical and saved us a lot of money. And when I went down there one time last year, I saw these little crates still on the fence. They're still standing. This little barn was built in 1964 by the community, and so I recognize that farming is a community adventure where everybody across the road helps out each other. That's what I see as our council here in Prince George's County, is that we're here to help each other, to give each other ideas, and to work together to build the barn together, to build this market, and to make sure that all of our farms are vibrant and successful. That's our vernal pool. It's still fresh. It's got bullfrogs going like crazy at night that are making all kinds of sounds. And the big two questions that I would like to challenge you on, and I'd love to get your feedback. We might not be able to answer all these two questions today, but there's certainly two questions that I kind of think about that I really want to impact over the next 3 years, is how can we help an additional 100 of our Prince George's County family farms to sell farm to table and to help them to be successful. For the ones that are already doing it, how do we help them to ramp up even further, and how do we help our restaurants to really understand the dynamics and how they can go about buying from our family farms. As well as, we had this big event yesterday to show our entrepreneurs here in Prince George's County of how they could export their goods and services to the world. And so John did a great job yesterday helping to lead up this export forum, and I would love to, in a partnership with the council, to be able to find a way to help at least 100 or even more of our farmers here in Prince George's County to actually export to the world. The United States Agriculture Department has billions of dollars of resources that are available to help all of our farms here in Prince George's County to export to the world. And the reason why they make that investment is that anytime you can help any of our business to export to the world, that increases the number of jobs. And that's what we're excited about here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, is being able to sell more here locally, nationally, as well as to export to the world. And so that's who Jim Coleman is, and I wanted you to know that I've got the growing up and the farming still in me, and where I was raised, and to let you know how committed I am to really helping our family farms. And just know that you've got an advocate here at the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, along with our team, to help you out. You've got your materials in front of you. That these materials are unbelievable in being able to help any of our small businesses. One of the programs that we have in there, if you're looking to put any of our residents to work here in Prince George's County where they may be currently unemployed, we will pay up to 90% of their salaries for the first 6 months that you employ them. And so as you're out there and you're looking for hands and different people to work on your farm, and if that individual is currently unemployed, work with our workforce development team. How to get signed up to this program is real simple and straightforward. But we would love you to put more of our residents to work. We don't have a flyer here. What we can do, John, is get Nicole to get those flyers on the EDI fund. We've got Ebony Stocks here, who's one of the wealthiest Prince George's residents. And the reason why is that she's walking around with a $50 million economic development incentive fund in her back pocket at any given time. And so she is here to be able to help us to administer that program, to offer low-cost loans that usually are below the market, starting at 4% with 10-year terms. And we can offer those loans at 4% over 10 years on a traditional basis, as well as on a conditional basis. The traditional would be where you would just normally go through the process and get a regular loan from us that you would repay. Under certain conditions, like if you're building a barn or fixing up your farm, and you make a major investment, if you're willing to spread that investment to our local contractors here in the community, and if it helps to create over 20 jobs, 25 jobs, we can work with you to where that loan could be forgiven after 10 years. And so we want to make sure that you know about these important tools, because we're out every single day letting the entire business community know about these tools. So please use these tools as they come about. And so take a look at all of the materials that we have. Please join us at any of our events, and let's continue to partner together. So thank you all so much for being here today.
Thanks, Jen. Fantastic. So I think I know many of you in the room, and for those of you that I haven't met yet, I think I've talked to you perhaps on the phone or over email, so it's good to see you in person. But for those who are familiar, the Food Equity Council is a local independent food policy council for Prince George's County, Maryland. We launched about 2.5 years ago in October 2013, and we're currently incubated within the Institute for Public Health Innovation, which is a public health institute for the DC region. So we started our Food Policy Council because we wanted to provide a seat at the decision-making table, if you will, to farmers and educators and other folks that sometimes weren't involved whenever farming policy was made. So we're so excited that EDC has provided us a seat at their table today to host this roundtable. And I think we're going to come out with some fantastic solutions. So we're a council of 22 members. We represent food retailers, anti-hunger advocates, hunger relief agencies, rural and urban farmers, government agencies, universities, and many more. And we like to think that our council represents a broad swath of the local food system. We're working to advance policy-based solutions to really transform our food system into one that promotes public health, ensures environmental sustainability, and spurs sound economic development. So it's very fitting that we're here today. And so we kind of say that the food system that we'd like to eventually see is one where there's justice and economic opportunity built into every step from farm to fork, and where every resident has access to healthy, affordable, sustainably produced, local, culturally appropriate, and safe food in their neighborhood. So that's what our members are trying to build here in the county. So the action, let's see, how does this work? Okay, great. The action in the Food Equity Council really happens on our work groups. We have 3 work groups that our members serve on alongside other stakeholders, professional stakeholders, and community residents. And those are the Healthy Eat and Nutrition Education Work Group, Healthy Food Retail, and Local Food Production. Today I'd like to highlight local food production. It, like all of our other work groups, does thorough research, develops action plans, and advances policies on specific food-informed policies. And what local food production focuses on is promoting economic viability and equity through local food production, processing, and distribution. They do a lot of our farm policy work on the council. This is the work group that really was the driving force behind today's roundtable. They came out with this great idea. They approached EDC, and EDC was on board, and the rest is history, and you're all here today. So they've worked a great deal since they first launched on policies that reduce the barriers to farmers and food entrepreneurs really succeeding or starting a new business in the county. So it's a logic approach to now look at what we can really do to help them thrive in the county, which is what we're looking forward to working on over the next year. So since the Food Equity Council launched about 2.5 years ago, we have had some initial successes. This is not work that we did alone. We work very closely with other stakeholders and our partners. But I want to highlight a few of the things that we worked on that are really relevant to this group. So we are always focused on equity, as our name implies. We work closely with Councilmember Lehman's office to restore $25,000 to the SNAP to Health program budget. And that's a program that provides funds for low-income residents to shop at farmers markets through getting farmers markets set up to accept SNAP or food stamps. So, that we feel like we really increased residents' access to local affordable foods through that, and we hope in future that we're able to even double the funds and the benefits that they use at farmers markets to really expand their family buying power. We worked with local farmers markets and DPI very closely to decrease the permit fees that farmers market vendors and farmers markets face. We brought new markets to the county with our partners on county council through the Food Truck Hub program. So now there's healthy mobile food vending options that will be rolling out in the spring. And as part of that, mobile farmers markets are also allowed. So that's yet another market for our county's local farmers. We worked with Councilmember Lehman to pass an urban agricultural property tax credit bill. So now we have some extra tax incentives that can go to our urban farmers, like our rural farmers that are a little bit larger in the county receive. And finally, most recently, we advocated for the agricultural marketing specialist to be funded in fiscal year 2017. We heard in the fall that you may know her as Kim, the ag marketing specialist in the county, was going to have the position defunded. And this is a position in the county that provides critical professional marketing support, advocacy to county farmers, and also assistance navigating regulations, which, as everyone in the room knows, can be kind of tricky at times. So we advocated, along with farmers and farmers markets from across the county, for that position to maintain funding. County exec listened, and he committed to funding that position next year. So,
That's great.
So that's just a little little bit about the council. Again, we're very excited to be co-hosting this roundtable with EDC today. I'd like to go ahead and jump into our programming and welcome Derek from the Planning Department up. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Well, I'm here with Gul Galeras, who is actually our real expert on food systems at the Planning Department, and we're here to offer our support and our resources to the work that you want to do. I'm going to start by talking a little bit about the role of the food system issue in our county's most significant land use policies, and then Gul's going to take over and talk about some research she's done. She has some very specific recommendations on how we can grow our local food system. But I want to start with this pictorial representation of our food system, which Gul created. And it reminds us that we have a food system, and that when it works correctly, it's actually a circular system. So you start with production in the upper left, crops and livestock that are then processed, to then get stored and distributed. They then get marketed to the consumer, who purchases food products at a variety of retail outlets. Then gets eaten, it gets cooked, and then the final step in the process is the production of waste materials. So for example, when food scraps are collected and composted and turned into compost and then given to a farmer, the food waste is used to start the cycle all over again and create the next generation of crops and livestock.
And it sends kids to college. Slop sent me to college.
That too.
I get paid for my college education.
Absolutely. And I think the thing for this group to focus on is every step in that process for Prince George's County is an economic opportunity, an opportunity to advance public health, and an opportunity to be more sustainable. So there is a wealth of opportunities for our county in that chart, and we think that's what this group wants to try to advance, and more power to you. So now a little bit about land use, because it is important, at least as context, to understand how this fits in with the county's most significant land use objectives. Just a couple of years ago, less than 2 years ago, the council approved the general plan, which is the most important land use policy document we have. It's the umbrella plan for how the county should grow. And it's a complex document, but it can be summarized by looking at this map in the following way. There are essentially, broadly speaking, 3 types of land in the county. The green is our rural agricultural area. And Plan 2035 says that our goal is to protect it. Protect it for farming, protect it for open space, protect it for the environment. The goal is to have as little new development in that green area as possible. Secondly, we have the established communities, which is the yellow. Those are our existing residential neighborhoods, some very old, some relatively new, but that's where hundreds of thousands of our residents and food consumers live. And then finally, the yellow diamonds and the purple areas represent the growth targets. These are the locations that our council and our community have said, this is where we want to have significant growth in the decades ahead. And it consists of 7 metro stations, it consists of National Harbor, and it consists in addition of some employment corridors. Those are the purple areas, which have been identified after a rigorous economic analysis that says, not only is this a good place to grow, but this is a place where the market will support growth. So what's important about this map is that the goal of preserving the rural agricultural area is a goal we cherish, but it's a goal that's still very hard to achieve. In a metropolitan area like Washington, D.C., keeping agriculture going is not easy. And you can see from these numbers that in the last 20 years, Prince George's County has lost more than 10,000 acres of farmland, and the number of active farms has gone down as well. We're all working very hard to stabilize that situation and reverse it, but the threat is there. And one reason the threat is there is the continuation of sprawl. We have many, many tools in place to preserve that rural agricultural area. But the reality is there are still property rights, there is still zoning, and in most of that area the zoning is 5-acre zoning, so you can have 1 dwelling unit for every 5 acres. And if all of it, God forbid, but if all of it did develop under the existing zoning, we have more than 2,000 new homes in the rural agricultural area, which would decimate its rural character and our ability to keep farming. Not to mention all the schools and roads we'd have to build to serve that. So it's vital that we do everything we can to keep the farms going. And the best defense against subdivision of farmland is a farmer who's making money. The farmer who's making money doesn't have the same incentive to sell out to a developer that one who's in trouble. And so part of what we're trying to do in many ways is keep farming going. And we know that it needs to evolve. And people like Beats Claggett know more about this than I could ever talk about. But once upon a time, big commodity crops like tobacco and corn and wheat, that's how farmers made money. Now they need to make money with value-added farming. And I could have a picture of Romano Winery in the lower right, but I had this picture because I have a little story to go with it. This is actually a picture taken in King County, Washington, in the rural area that's not too far from urban Seattle. And when I was at a planning conference, they took us on a tour, and I met the owner of this business. And he told the following story. So they've got a couple hundred acres of land in their family that is apple orchard. And they used to produce apples, sell the apples to agribusiness, and that's how they made their money. And if it was a good year and the price was right, they made money, and if it was a bad year, they lost money. And they realized they were never going to be able to keep the business going, just producing apples. So they got an idea, maybe we can add value. So the first thing they did was create a processing capacity on their land to turn the apples into cider. Now the apples are worth more. Then they realized, we can ferment some of that cider and make hard cider. And that's really popular. So now we've added a little more value. And then, and every one of these, of course, required a zoning change, which they got. But then they said, we could have a store on the property, and folks from the city could come out and actually buy from us the hard cider or the soft cider or the fruits and vegetables that we also produce. And so now, after a decade of all these changes, he said, I am making money off my apples again and again and again and again, every step of the process, and now we're in good shape. So that's
How many acres did they have to make that transformation?
I recall it was a couple hundred, but I can check my notes and give you the details. I have a lot of notes that I took. So that's the kind of farming that we need to encourage in Prince George's County. And where it connects with what you're all trying to do is the market. There are hundreds of thousands of Prince George's residents who we think would be interested in being the consumers of our local farm product. And farmers markets, farm incubators, there's a whole host of ways that we can basically matchmake between the market, the local market that we have, which is our residents, and our local farmers who we're trying to support. And Google has done a series of reports that get very specific about some of the things we could do to maximize that matchmaking opportunity between our local market and our local farms. And I'm going to turn it over now to Google, who's going to talk about that.